WIP. This is the morning show. Tom Kelly in for Joe DeCamara. Once again today, coming up at 7 o'clock, Ruben Amaro Jr. will join us in studio for the rest of the show. So you heard Rhea mention the update there. Phillies lose last night. They fall to the Cardinals 3-2. Cardinals playing really well right now. They've won 9 straight. Good game last night. But Phil's come up short. We'll get into that in a little bit. Get into all that with Ruben, everything going on with the Phillies. And also, as you heard Rhea mention there, 8:30, manager Rob Thompson will join us to talk about the Phillies' fantastic auction, the item involving him, and also Sports Radio 94 WIP has an item as well, the Eagles game day experience and Brandon Graham autographed football. You and a guest will enjoy a full Sports Radio 94 WIP Eagles game day experience as the Eagles take on the New York Giants. Start your game day at the Sports Radio 94 WIP pregame tailgate party. Continue by visiting the pregame show hosted by the Sports Radio 94 WIP stars. Then into the link you'll go to visit with broadcasters Merrill Reese and Mike Quick in the broadcast booth. Before watching the game from club level seats, you'll also receive an Eagles autographed football from Super Bowl champion and Pro Bowl defensive end Brandon Graham. Bidding ends 7 p.m. on May 18th. What do you think of that item, John? That's a pretty sweet thing right there.
Just some of these opportunities are so phenomenal. Only found here. Just so exciting. I can't wait to hear more.
Yeah, and I mean, I imagine they might get to meet you as well. Who knows?
Well, man, that part, I don't know how exciting that is, but yeah, we're gonna make a day of it, and just being able to watch that batting practice up close and personal, thrilling. No matter how lame Joe DeCamara might be.
Yeah, you'll get to for the Rob Thompson item if you want to bid on that. Lunch and BP with the manager. You'll get to watch BP with Rob Thompson, have lunch with him. So make sure you're bidding on the Phillies' fantastic auction items. 215-592-9494 if you want to get in. So we'll get to the Phillies in a few minutes. In a few minutes as well, we'll get to the reaction from the Rights to Ricky Sanchez draft lottery party last night.
Oh, they must have been lit.
Oh, yeah. It was exciting for a while, though. I mean, when they were in the top 4,
my heart was pounding. It was a whole commercial break where it felt like I might be fully ready to forgive. Like I felt that joy.
I felt the hope for this franchise coming back, but then it was
the taste of joy, and then third was not anywhere close to the joy necessary to make me believe or
I'm sorry, man.
Happy.
Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper, these guys do nothing for me. I wanted Cooper Flagg so bad. I wanted it so bad. Unfortunately, Sixers don't get it. So you want to get on that, you're welcome to. Also, our side topic today, who is eccentric? Chance to win a pair of tickets, Post Malone, Citizens Bank Park on May 24th at CBP. Tickets on sale, Ticketmaster.com. So give us somebody that's eccentric, and you'll have an opportunity to win those Post Malone tickets. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Mike in Norristown. What's up, Mike?
Hey, good morning, folks. How are you?
Doing great, Mike. How are you?
I'm all right. I think the draft is fixed too, man. It didn't look right. It's kind of shady.
Very shady, John. Just come around to our side. Come to the conspiracy theorist side.
1.8% chance. I was so amazed that it could actually happen to us. So when it was almost happening to us during that commercial break, there was the final 4, and we were one of them. I didn't think that was shady. I didn't think for a moment.
No one would think it was shady if the Sixers got the top pick.
Yeah, well, I would have been fine with it then. I mean, if Sixers get it, who cares?
Right.
Then I'm happy it's rigged.
Then I'm lifted, and wow, can you imagine how fascinating that would be with Cooper Flagg here in the mix?
Place would have gone nuts. Yeah.
But now we've got the third pick is better than the 5th, and it's just. Man, I wanted so badly for it to feel like it would bring that hope.
It doesn't. I don't feel very hopeful.
It doesn't bring the hope that
we can still get that kid from Duke, right?
Con Knuppel?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a nice player, but I just don't like.
I know he ain't the guy that we want.
Exactly, Mike. It's that's the unfortunate thing about it. It's not like it's not that you can't get a good player, but there was only one franchise changer in this draft.
You got to take the good with the bad because you know what? Guess what? We're still Super Bowl world champs, and we're going to repeat. Let's go.
Well, there you go, Mike. Do you have somebody who's eccentric for us?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Oh, definitely.
Okay,
pretty eccentric.
Yeah, that's
he kept it under wraps though for quite some time
Up until the couch.
Yeah. That was really the point, right?
Started seeing some cracks in the facade, I guess, at the couch.
Yeah.
But
Katie Holmes, right?
Man,
that was the girl he was screaming about?
Yeah.
When your now ex-wife has to use burner phones to get away from you, there's something weird going on.
Yeah, that's not a great look.
I want that documentary someday.
Yeah, that's not a great look for Tom Cruise. 215-592-9494 if you want to get in. Twitter poll question of the day sponsored by Armin Chevrolet. Check out Armin's certified one-owner pre-owned pickup trucks and SUVs at arminchevy.com. That's arminchevy.com. Together, let's drive at WIP Morning Show on Twitter. And this one is pretty simple. Do you think the NBA draft lottery was rigged? Yes or no? That is our Twitter question of the day.
I voted, Tom. Just so you know.
What did you vote for?
I voted yes.
Okay, not surprising.
Several times. No.
I would vote yes as well. What would you vote, John?
I did not think it was rigged. I was so thrilled that we were gonna win it. I really thought for a commercial break we were gonna win that thing. I was certain it was not rigged at that point. 2 minutes later, when the Mavs won, I did not immediately switch to thinking it was rigged. Now, yes, it feels a little fishy. I do not think they went so far as to rig the whole thing.
Well, I'm interested to get Ruben's take on this at 7, because as a former general manager, and because to me, the fishiest thing about this is going back to this Luka trade. And the fact that at the time, like it's been reported multiple times, the Mavericks GM did not canvass the league for any other trades. Like if you were trading one of the 5 best players in the NBA, 10 best at worst,
you get a bidding war.
Right. The fact that you were just going to trade him to one team.
I'm just playing devil's advocate here. When you know that these players are basically calling the shots and you have to trade the player where he dictates
He didn't want to get traded. He didn't want to get traded.
Oh, but doesn't it feel like it's set in motion by forces that are uncontrollable and beyond anyone's
like the commissioner of the league? Yes, that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah, that's how it feels to me too. Like it is out of control. Yeah, and that's where it's gone too far. And that's where we've got a real problem with the product,
right?
Deep down,
and that's why I'm going to get Ruben's take as a former GM. Like, would you ever trade a guy to a team and not ask anybody else if they're interested in the player for a better deal? Because it seems like not a great way to do business. But that's just my opinion.
You're right.
But
there are a lot of things that are broken about this league.
Yeah, and that's the problem, John, is that everybody thinks they've done. There's too much evidence of this happens and the other shoe, and everybody keeps getting it's been happening for years. So it's why everybody thinks it is.
Yeah, and that's the odd part is because these kind of things have happened before. But I think we all kind of felt the way that they felt at this Rights to Ricky Sanchez draft lottery party last night. And this perfectly encapsulated because you see the Sixers are in the top 4. There's all this excitement, and then just dashed. Here's how it sounded last night at the Rights to Ricky Sanchez draft lottery party.
The 4th pick in the NBA draft goes to the Charlotte Hornets. Picking 3rd will be the Philadelphia 76ers. The 2nd pick will be made by the San Antonio Spurs. That the number 1 pick of the 2025 NBA draft goes to the Dallas Mavericks.
There were just those hopes being dashed when they were announced at number 3. And I got to say, this was my son's first sports heartbreak last night because we're watching the lottery and he's upset. He loves math. He loves numbers. So he was very interested in the process, how they're counting down from 14. He's 4.
So, okay, this is your oldest son?
My oldest. Yeah.
Wow.
So he was very interested in the lottery. I explained to him what was going on. He said he really wanted Cooper Flagg. It's his favorite player. And he burst into tears. He burst into tears when the Sixers didn't get the pick.
The only good thing about this, TK, is that he now knows what it's like to be a Philadelphia sports fan.
Yeah, I mean, he's been way too spoiled.
Yes.
I mean, he went to an Eagles parade at 3 years old.
Exactly.
I didn't go till I was 30, so he doesn't know what it feels like. But yeah, his first sports heartbreak last night. Very disappointing.
And it wasn't even a game. You had to console him after the draft lottery.
He loved the lottery. He was way more invested in that than he's ever been in any game I've tried to get him to watch.
Man.
Yeah, he thought that was really cool.
It was. There was some
exciting.
pop and it was, and they classed it up, and I don't know, it was really cool seeing Jared McCain representing, and I don't know, that part made me, I don't know, seeing Jared McCain there. Before they made a mistake, on the draft show.
My God,
they made an error where they basically said, "Oh, well, they're the, they thought we were."
We actually have that. Let's play it. This was last night. Kevin Nagandi on ESPN.
That means the Spurs are in the top 4 with 2 teams jumping into the top 4. That means the Sixers will lose their pick to the Thunder because it's outside the top 6.
The 8th pick in the NBA draft belongs to the Brooklyn Nets. Pick number 7 will be made by the New Orleans Pelicans. Picking 6th, the Washington Wizards.
Correction now. That means Philadelphia is in the top 4. So they make the jump, and suddenly Jared McCain is riding the roller coaster we all are inside this room. The Sixers are in the top 4.
I was freaking out when he said that because I'm screaming at my TV. I'm like, that's not right. Like, that's not right. When
the whole world was.
Yeah. I mean, Kevin Nagandi's a Philly guy. I know he's popular
I don't
here.
know what happened there.
That's a bad mistake, man.
Yeah.
It feels like he kind of owned up to it. I think he just jumped the gun and made an error.
I think he might have also,
Yeah.
but I don't know. But my hopes were dashed.
I was going nuts.
And then it was all of a sudden, whoa, wait a second. Is this real? Is this part real? Did they just make another mistake? And so, yeah, my emotions were all over the place.
So it could have been worse.
But it was very exciting.
It could have been worse. But the question now becomes, where do you go from here? Because the Sixers have the 3rd pick, and the 2 kids from Rutgers, Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper, they seem like the logical picks at that spot. But the question is, what do you do with the rest of the roster? Because you have Paul George, you have Joel Embiid. Do you kind of hang on to this era? Do you run it back for another year with whoever you end up with in the draft? You have Max, you have McCain, George, Embiid, or do you blow it up? I want to blow this thing up. I don't care. I want to keep the pick. I want to build with Maxey and McCain in the pick. I want to, if I can get rid of George, rid of Embiid, one or the other, both, whatever. I want to get rid of these guys. Nothing's going to change with them being here. I want to blow it up. What do you think, John? Do you want to blow it up or do you want to give this thing another shot?
No, I want to see what this looks like with the 2 old heads and then, Jared McCain smiling and healthy, and Tyrese Maxey and, whoever this is. Maybe it's Ace. That sounds pretty cool. That's a pretty cool starting 5. That would excite me if those old heads are healthy.
It just nothing with this team excites me, and I can see. I feel like doing that would just be delaying the inevitable. I don't think it's going to hurt. Or it's going to work, and I can see it now. I can see Daryl Morey kind of buying this now because Jason Tatum looks like he may have suffered a serious injury last night. He's probably if it's a torn Achilles, like it's speculated to be. Yeah, he could miss.
He was taken off on a wheelchair.
Yeah, he could miss all of next season. Damian Lillard already tore his Achilles, so the Bucks are in trouble. And I could see Daryl Morey saying, "Look at our team. Look at all the positives." And here was Morey last week on the Rights to Ricky Sanchez talking about why fans should be optimistic going into this season.
Let's go through the things you might want in a team as a fan. You'd want, a chance to win the championship. Debatable, but for sure a higher chance than many teams. I think our roster going into next year, assuming healthy, is better than the one that went into last year with the third best title. It's now you have to adjust for the fact that we had such a bad year. So that's going to push you down for sure. But I'd rather have a Grimes and a McCain and maybe whoever our draft pick turns into than what the roster looked like going into last season, which was built mostly out of free agency, out of necessity.
And I just look at it, I don't think this is going to work. I think it's delaying the inevitable. And if you're going to have to rebuild, why not just start now? Like, you have these young players, you have this pick. If you can get out of either of those contracts, and I think you probably could at least get out of one of them, I'm trading them. I don't want to run it back. I don't think this has any shot to work if you do that.
Pennies on the dollar. Can you imagine the deal?
Well, what do you think? Embiid's value is going to. You think either of their values are going to go up? It
just doesn't feel. No, I mean, maybe if they play, but then at that point it's just like awfully late to make a decision. We will be in the season. This is no. We can't do that. I can't cut the cord. I can't say, okay, I'm done with the process and take a penny here and a penny there for the investment. There's too much pain invested. There's too much blood and sweat and ridiculousness plugged into this whole thing for me to say, okay, I'm done, and I'll scrape by with whatever we can get for Joel.
Well, it's more to me about clearing the deck. Like, I think you need to, if you can clear the salary of Joel Embiid or Paul George or both of them, I think you need to do it, because what are we going to do if we run it back? We're going to try another year. And the Sixers, and I'm sure that's what they're going to, I think that's what they're going to try to do, because they're going to look around and they're going to look at these injuries. They're going to look at what's going on in Milwaukee with Lillard and Giannis maybe wanting out. Tatum now injured in Boston. And they're going to convince themselves that they have a shot. And I just don't believe. Like, I don't believe in the core of this team. I don't believe in Joel Embiid. And I just think you're just delaying what you're ultimately going to need to do if you stay down this path and stay down this road. Why not accelerate the process? You get ahead of it by a year, and you have an opportunity to really rebuild this thing. That's the way I'd go.
I just sat and watched while Joel healed, and then he got surgered again. He will heal even more.
When is he ever healed?
We were told.
More?
Yeah, he's got plenty of time this time. This last season, it was almost like the mileage was not as great. He certainly should be well rested, and hit the ground as running as Joel can, and I'm interested to see what that looks like.
Well,
I think he should feel a real sense of obligation to hit the ground running full speed.
Hit the ground running or hit the ground limping?
Not limping. When we see, it'll tell us everything. The way that he hits the ground. If he hits the ground limping, after all this, I am ready to call it. But what if he hits the ground and he can actually do this thing? Remember, Joel, it's not like Ben Simmons who refused to work on his game, and like Joel was always in the summers, he was honing and trying to work on some new moves out on the perimeter, have some new footwork under the hoop. Like he was always working.
And he still gets injured all the time.
What if? Yeah, I agree, and that's annoying. What if this summer he's working and we see some improvements and he's not getting injured? I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like.
Well, fair enough. I just don't see it happening. 215-592-9494. But want to know, what do you think the Sixers should do now that they have the third pick? Do you try to blow this thing up? Do you try to clear the deck of Embiid, of Paul George, or do you run it back with this pick, with these young players, with Embiid and George, to give it one last run? You're welcome to get in on that. Also, our side topic, who's eccentric